Is the Canon 6D Mark II one of the best cameras for content creators in 2025? Let's find out. My name is Andrew and this is Parts in Tech, where we review some of the world's most popular electronics, tools, and appliances. Today we're talking about the Canon 6D Mark II. We're talking about who it's for, who it's not for, some of the pros, and even some of the cons, and some of its downfalls. Let's talk about some of the specs. This is a 26.2 Canon CMOS sensor, and it does a great job at capturing full frame, very sharp images. One of the best things about this camera is it does a very good job at capturing great crisp details, even in low light situations and scenarios. It does have a 45-point autofocus system, which is incredible. There's so many different focus points in this camera, which makes it autofocusing super fast, super simple, super easy, crisp, and quick. One of the great things about this autofocus is you can use the autofocus with live view and even while recording. The Digic 7 image processor means this camera is very, very fast and it has a very powerful processor inside of it. This makes operation super smooth. With this camera, you can record full HD video at 60 frames per second. It also has an incredible ISO range of 100 to 40,000 ISO. It also has a 3-inch movable LCD screen, as you can see right here. It is pivotable, it does go up and down, it does fold in, so you can protect the screen just like that. And the build quality of this camera is quite incredible. It's Canon's really solid build quality. There's nothing really different about this camera compared to other high-end Canon cameras. I'm equally as impressed with this camera as I am with all of their other cameras on build quality. It is water resistant, dust resistant. As you can see here, you do have your one SD card slot right there. And it's really similar to a lot of the other EF mount Canon cameras. You do have your small screen up here, which is kind of going away, or really it's getting smaller with some of the new R mount cameras, the mirrorless cameras. This is kind of a bigger body than a mirrorless camera. It is a little heavier than a mirrorless camera, so there are a couple of cons to this camera. Some of the technology and some of the kind of the specs that I mentioned are a little bit out of date compared to a lot of the mirrorless cameras that are out today. It is an EF Canon lens mount system, so you cannot mount any of the R lenses, anything like that. You do have to mount the Canon EF lenses, which are kind of going out of style. They still do produce them, they still do make them, and they're still making new Canon EF cameras, and so they still are usable. It's not necessarily a negative thing, it's just something to be aware of when you're purchasing this camera. Overall, this is a very good professional grade camera. If you're a beginner or just starting out or want a family camera, something like that, maybe not the best camera for you. It's kind of made for the professional. Somebody who's going to be using this at a professional level. Maybe you use this for work, your job, or maybe you're a freelancer, something like that. Maybe you shoot weddings, whatever you're doing. It's gonna be a good camera for you, for the professional. Not necessarily a great camera for somebody who's just starting out or a beginner. A lot of settings on this camera, a lot of things that you do have to learn. There's a lot of other great cameras you can start out with besides this camera, but even if you do want to start out with this camera, I firmly believe that somebody could do it, and it's going to provide you with some incredible results. With that being said, overall, it is a great camera, and if you're looking for a great professional camera, the Canon 6D Mark II is a great one.